Hey guys, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel and thanks for tuning in to this week's fishing report. Before we dive into this week's report, just want to let you guys know all of the guides and resorts mentioned in today's report, their information will be linked down in the description. So whether you want to call them, look them up on their website, or contact them on Facebook, all of that information is down in the description. Now, if you use any of the guides or resorts mentioned in the report today, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. And with that being said, let's dive into this week's fishing report. This week we're going to start up on Lake Winnie. The walleye fishing is good out there right now. When the mayflies were in their full swing, it was a little bit tough, but fishing is now good again. Now, the areas that you can find those walleyes, the walleyes are starting to move up shallow again. You can find them in Tamarack Bay in 6 to 12 feet of water, and they're up in the weed lines. Now, the best way to catch those is either floating a leech over the top of the weeds, pulling spinners, or even some jigs in plastics are producing some nice fish. Now, there still is a bunch of walleyes out deep on the deeper humps. They're finding them in 18 to 24 feet of water, pulling bottom bouncers, Lindy rigs, and they're catching some really nice eater fish out there. Now, from day to day, the bait of choice is kind of switching. One day it'll be a night crawler bite, the next day it'll be a leech bite, so make sure you have both when you're headed out onto Lake Winnie. Now, as far as the pike bite goes, the pike are still ferocious out there. Anywhere you fish, you're gonna run into pike. If you want to target them, pull spoons, pull big spinner baits, or some crankbaits, and you're gonna catch some pike out on Lake Winnie. Now, as far as the panfish go, it's been really quiet with panfish lately. I'm sure the bluegills are still up on the shallower weed lines in 6 to 10 feet of water. Slip bobber and a panfish leech is probably your best bet for that. As far as the crappies, haven't heard a lot, but I would assume they're out over the deep basins suspended. So if you're looking for crappies, that's a good place to look. Now, as far as muskies go, haven't heard of a lot of them being caught, but I've heard from pike fishermen that they're starting to see a lot. They're having a lot of follows, so that bite should pick up any day here now. Now, as far as bass go, the bass are up in the shallow weed lines, spinner baits, tube jigs, swim jigs. So if you want to target some bass, go fish the shallow weeds. Now, if you're looking for a guide on Lake Winnie, we highly recommend Scott Zupfer, not just for his fishing skills, but his ability to teach you why, where, and when. He's going to show you what it takes to catch fish, and you can carry that on beyond the guide trip, and you'll be able to do some of this on your own. But Scott Zupfer, zupsguideservice, one of the premier guides in northern Minnesota. If you want to get out on Lake Winnie and have some success, book a trip with Scott Zupfer. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, we highly recommend the Pines Resort. They got a full bar and restaurant, beautiful cabins. They got campsites, seasonal sites. They got a fish cleaning shack, live bait on site. Whatever you could ask for, they have it, and they will help make your trip a success. Now, I also want to mention, guys, the Pines Resort, they do have live music this Sunday. It's open to the public, so if you guys want to enjoy some live music this coming weekend on Sunday, check out the Pines Resort and enjoy your evening there. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and call Chad from the Pines Resort. All right, moving over to Mille Lacs Lake. We were up there this past weekend and the walleye fishing was on fire. As far as where the majority of the walleyes are hanging out right now, we found them on the deep gravel in 26 to 30 feet of water. We saw people pulling lead core and catching them on that. We saw people pulling bottom bouncers. They were having success. We were using slip bobbers and we caught a ton of different size walleyes and had a blast out there. Now, in the evenings and early mornings, you can still find those walleyes up in that shallower 12 to 18 feet of water. Slip bobbers in a leech, jig in a leech, those are some good techniques to catch those shallower water fish. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass bite goes, 10 to 18 feet of water on rocks, a couple of good areas for those: Big Point, Hennepin Island, Grass Island. They're catching a ton of really nice smallmouth bass out there right now, and the best ways to do that is with a drop shot or a Ned rig. Now, as far as the pike bite goes, the pike are really starting to bite. 7 to 12 feet of water. Look for weed lines, pull big spinner baits, spoons, crankbaits, and you're gonna find yourself some really nice pike out on Mille Lacs Lake. Now, as far as the muskie bite goes, they're still finding a few muskies in the bays, but the majority of those big fish have moved out to the basins. They're just roaming in that deep water. The best way to find those big Mille Lacs Lake muskies is if you got forward-facing imaging, scan around, find a fish, and then proceed to set up and cast on them. Now, as far as what they're catching them on, they're using glide baits, they're throwing big crankbaits or trolling them, and they're having some success on big rubber baits as well. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, the perch are still really scattered. It's hard to put any kind of pattern together on them. You get a few here and there mixed in with the walleyes, but pretty tough as of right now. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Mille Lacs Lake, we highly recommend Castles Resort. They have beautiful cabins. They got pontoon rentals, nice dock, marina area. You can park your boat in the water and keep it there for the weekend. They got paddle boards, kayaks, whatever you're looking for, they can help accommodate you on your trip. Now, Castles Resort also runs a launch out of their resort. It holds 30 people. It's $40. That includes your bait and your rod and reel. It's a blast out there. You're gonna catch a bunch of fish and have a great time out on Mille Lacs Lake. So if you're looking to get to Mille Lacs Lake this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and call Jeff or Kimberly from Castles Resort. All right, moving on to Leech Lake. The walleye bite out on Leech is still phenomenal. It is amazing how many eater-sized fish are in that system right now. So if you're looking to catch some eater-sized walleyes, Leech Lake is the place to be. Now, as far as where to find those fish, the majority of the fish can be found in 11 to 15 feet of water. Look for sand to weed transitions or sand near deep drop-offs. Now, another area you can find them, you can look for sand flats and shallow mud flats in 11 to 15 feet as well. Pulling crankbaits in perch or crawfish color tends to be your best bet in those areas. Now, as far as what is working best, a jig and a leech, a jig and a night crawler, or a slip bobber in a leech is putting a ton of fish in the boat right now. So make sure when you go out there you have both leeches and night crawlers handy. Now, the panfish bite, the majority of the panfish, they have moved out deeper. They're on those deep weed lines near deep water. So if you want to find some panfish, locate those deep weed beds. Either float a slip bobber with a panfish leech or troll a small jig and a twister tail about 1 to 1.2 miles per hour along those weed lines, and you're sure to pick up some panfish. Now, if you do locate some panfish while trolling, drop a waypoint, circle back around, spot lock on them, throw some live bait up in there, and you're gonna boat a ton of nice panfish. Now, as far as the bass bite goes, I heard the largemouth bass bite was a little bit slower this past week, but Boy Bay, Steamboat Bay, look for the rice beds, docks, those all seem to be holding a few largemouth bass as of right now. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass go, look for main lake rock piles, boulders, chunky rock. That's holding the smallmouth. The best way to catch those right now is a drop shot or a Ned rig. The muskie bite. The muskie bite is starting to pick up on Leech Lake. There's been some giants being caught. Those fish are starting to transition from the deep basins up to the shallow structures. Try to find shallow rock reefs near deep water or weed beds near deep water. That's where those fish are going to transition to first, and that's where you will find the majority of muskies right now. Now, as far as how to catch those muskies, the best techniques right now, casting bucktails or jerk baits have been boating the most fish. Now, at times, top waters are working, glide baits are working, but the bucktails and jerk baits are the bait of choice as of right now. Now, if you're looking for a guide up on Leech Lake, we highly recommend the guys from Leech Lake Guide Team, LLC. Not only are they going to put you on fish, but they're going to teach you why, how, when to catch those fish that they're putting you on. The most important thing about a good guide is not just filling the boat with fish, but it's the knowledge you're going to leave that trip with, and Leech Lake Guide Team does a good job of doing that. So if you're looking for a guide up on Leech Lake, go ahead and look up Leech Lake Guide Team, LLC. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, we highly recommend Horseshoe Bay Lodge. They just had some cancellations on some cabins, so go ahead, give them a call, mention Livin MN Outdoors, and you will receive a little bit of a discount on those cabins for the next couple of weeks. Now, Horseshoe Bay Lodge, they have a full bar and restaurant. They got hotel rooms, cabins, condos, a nice beach, playground, whatever you're looking for, they have it. Tons of activities for the family. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake and have a blast with the family, definitely check out Horseshoe Bay Lodge. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Like usual, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Please leave us a comment. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting this video shared out to as many people as possible. But we hope you get out fishing. We hope you have some luck. Remember, be kind at the boat ramps. Lend a helping hand. Let's make life jackets cool again, especially when your boat is moving. And be kind to all the fishermen out there. But most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.